Okay, good morning, good afternoon, happy Saturday, everyone. We're gonna start today a bit quickly because there's a lot to cover. What I'm gonna cover today is this current session. Today's session is primarily focused on recruiters, right? What the recruiter should do, how they approach hiring, and what we should do if we are looking at getting hired for a specific company. We quickly share my screen. What we're going to cover today is this LinkedIn's, it's not a survey, it's a report they've published. And this is about what the recruiter thinks, how they should approach the future of recruiting. There's certain aspects to that. So, and before I cover that up, one of the important things is that we understand the cycle of how the hiring works. I've been explaining that in the master classes. However, it's important that we have a good grasp of how the recruitment team works, how the hiring works, how we are approached by the recruiter. This is something which we should be aware of, and our strategy should be such that we look at such opportunities as and when they come by, right? All right. So let me just start with our understanding of the hiring, right? How the companies hire. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, awesome. So when you see the presentation, see it all starts. What hiring is, it all starts with the recruiter. But who gives instructions to the recruiter? It is actually the hiring manager or the business itself. Suppose an organization, a business unit, department thinks that I need more people to support my business. And there could be numerous reasons. It could be backfilling an existing position. It could be my my business is growing, right? Or I need more skill set for a specific area which we don't have right now in the organization. So the business will say, the business unit or the department will say, I need more people. And this is notified to the management and to the recruiters as well. Suppose they get an approval, right? That, okay, you can go ahead and hire these many people. So what this hiring leader, hiring manager, or the business department owner or business leader does is they create a requirement or a job description, we call it. And I always call job description is it's like the master key for unlocking so many opportunities and so many, um, what do you call it? So many, it allows you to, let me rephrase that basically. Uh, that master key allow you to excel in different areas. It allows you to get shortlisted for an interview. It allows you to get the right answers when you're seeking those answers, prepare for the interviews in the interview as well. So job description is the master key, right? So they create this master key and they give it to the recruiter, to the hiring manager. Sorry, to the person who's responsible for hiring. So recruiter is the person who's actually managing the whole show, sending out the advertisements, seeking applications, collecting those applications, collating those applications. So recruiter is doing that job. Now, what they do is they actually collate all the applications once they have the job description. So you'll see a lot of people posting on LinkedIn, even when you go to Naukri or any other job portal, they will have specifications of the job. Yeah, you will see those. What is the specification job description? So this is that basis for hiring. And when they send it out to people, basically when they are sending out to people, uh, people respond to those applications. Now, when you see any company like a big company like Google or Microsoft or any other renowned name, there are thousands and thousands of applications that happen immediately. There's an opening for a certain role. And why this happens is once it is published on a public platform, everybody is eager to join such companies, right? So this all starts with, as I said, with hiring manager giving the job description and recruiter starting to collate that information, collecting that information. Now, when they start collecting that information, what they do is they go through the entire hiring process. Now, this is managed by recruiter, but a hiring manager or the department who's hiring has a very active role to play. Basically, what they do is they um, those who are actually the responsible for the department owners or the business owners, they need to ensure that the person they are hiring is right for their department, for their team, for their business or not. The recruiter's job is to give them good candidates and also manage the show. Like, okay, you want me to set up a front line interview, first line, second line, third line, talk to the candidates. It is not business's job. It is the recruiter who's doing that. And that is why it is having a good rapport with the recruiter. It always helps because recruiter can put you ahead in the line. I've seen recruiters also help you to get through the interviews. Why? Why recruiters help you? Because it is their job to get the good candidate. So suppose they see you as a very good candidate, they will give you, they will guide you, they will ensure that you have the right perspective there. Okay. Then salary discussions with recruiters and HR. So this is the basically the final step when you get shortlisted for an interview, right? Now, these are the why I'm sharing these basic steps with you is to make you understand that this is the basis of hiring, how hiring works. Today, what we are going to do is we're going to first see what LinkedIn is sharing, that how the recruiters are looking at future, and then what we're going to do is we'll also go ahead and um, talk about how to get an interview call quickly, which is more of thinking from the perspective of the recruiter, that how do they hire people so that I can be that person who can get recruited or hired for a role. Okay. So, Abhi, recently LinkedIn has this survey. They connected with a lot of recruiters and senior leadership, and they are publishing these reports. Now, the recent report that uh, LinkedIn shared, what it shared was that AI, that is artificial intelligence, will have a very active role to play in recruiting. Now, we use AI to get shortlisted because we try to match the job description with the resume we have, and get to see that what is the score of that match. JobScan, SkillScan, the other websites do that kind of a job where they match your resume to the job description for the role you are applying for, and they tell you that okay, this is how close you are to getting shortlisted or getting matched. Not shortlisted because suppose there are 500 applications, even if you are a match, recruiters might not end up hiring you. Okay, so it's where it stands today. Now, when it says AI will supercharge, so what they show is that uh, why recruiters will use AI. They will use AI for creating job descriptions. So first of all, it is not their only job to create job description because they work with the hiring manager. Hiring manager is the department or the business unit person, business unit leader, team manager, leader, whatever. And they work with that person to create this job description. What is a job description? It is a description that says this kind of a candidate we need. It lists out the education, your experience, your skill set, hard skills, soft skills, everything, right? Now, they say that first of all, to create those kind of job descriptions, they will use AI, and it's very easy. I've tried that as well. I tried hiring somebody. I used Chat GPT, give the specification that this is the kind of a candidate I need. These are the experience levels I need, and it'll automatically create a job description for you, very detailed one. Really like the approach on that. I mean, it will take few seconds to do that. That probably a recruiter can take days to even weeks as well, right? They also want to automate their tasks, and again, it is more of how they can do their task better. As I said, this survey is more focused around uh, what this survey's focus has been. This survey they did was for with the recruiters. So LinkedIn did this survey with the recruiters, and they LinkedIn asked that okay, what are the things you see in the futures you will be doing? people who are hiring for big organizations, they ask this question to these recruiters: "Ki, how do you see the future?" So definitely, as I mentioned, the first thing they will do is they will also use AI like we do. We use AI like JobScan or SkillSyncer and other websites or other, suppose other portals to get shortlisted. Similarly, they are using it to create the job description because it's a very comprehensive exercise. One thing which I also want to tell you is that when you go through the job description of any opening or opportunity for any company, you know, the best way to know about the hiring process, the seriousness of hiring, the professionalism is it's very easy to check with the quality of job description. If the quality of job description is not very clear, not as very open, and you don't get to understand what they are hiring for, higher chances they are not very clear on the hiring front. And there is also a chance that the company doesn't put focus on getting the right talent. Because if they have the right specifications, that's how they will attract the right applications, and that's how they will hire people, right? So that's an easy way to check that how serious they are. Now the recruiters tell or shared with LinkedIn that they will hire for skill sets. They'll not hire for designation. Suppose my designation as a director in a company, they'll not hire me. They will hire me for what I'm going to give to the company based on my skills. So suppose I have set up teams, so they might hire for a person who's very good at setting teams, who's very good at building processes. So this is based on your skills and how well you express your skills. We have already discussed that in detail, but it is very important that you do that frequently, right? Skills based hiring is what they are going to do. Now recruiters also would be accountable for the quality of hire. Now this is more of companies holding them accountability, that well, you are the one responsible for getting a good quality person. Now, big companies, the best and the quickest way is how you connect with the recruiter and how they give you insights. Key, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Whether you have this certification or can you get that certifications quickly as well. There are very small certifications you can do within a week or so as well, right? But recruiters can give you that information that this is a certification that they need. This is a requirement that they have. The idea is that have you established that relationship with the recruiter, right? So again, how the future would look like, quality of hiring they will do, how they do the company's branding, candidate experience, how they identify that, flexible working arrangement, and upskilling, reskilling. Now, this is not a responsibility of a recruiter to upskill people, but still they see that how they see the future of hiring, right? Then agility to have with the recruitment team. What is agility? Agility is flexibility in any kind of given situation. 90% is focused on how flexible you are as a recruiter. So LinkedIn is saying that recruiters nowadays, they have very different approach to hiring. Their goalposts keep moving. What does that mean? The 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 type of candidate and the style of hiring they used to do, it is completely changing now because the requirement of business is changing every day, and they have to keep a pace on that, right? Now what happens when you see that recruiters uh, are finding it difficult to hire the right people because the requirements are not clear, they are not able to identify the real basics of hiring and things like that. Now, as a candidate, as somebody who's looking for opportunities in these organizations, when you showcase yourself as a very flexible, open, and a credible person, recruiters will always favor you, give you tips on that, right? Because they're also very frustrated. They are also very under a lot of pressure to get the right people in the timely fashion. And there are a lot of competing deliverables. What are competing deliverables for them? They want to hire the best candidates. They want to hire within a timeline with a compensation which matches with the organization philosophy. So there are so many competing things that are happening because they can throw many at the table. and everybody can come, right? If somebody gets a double pay, they will be immediately jumping to that opportunity. But they don't have, organizations blindly don't pay it. So recruiters find it difficult. Now, why I'm sharing these competing challenges of recruiters with you is so that you can understand and identify that there are certain times that this recruiter, this person, this individual is facing this kind of a challenge. Suppose you know that they have to hire within 2 weeks because they need somebody in a client position. Client has already asked that. You get to know it from the recruiter. Now you know that even if you match certain criteria, if you're not matching 100%, still you will have that opportunity. Why? Because they have a pressing need from the client. Now, if there's a pressing need from the client, the hiring is quick. Yeah. So that's how this works. Then recruitment teams will advocate for flex work policies. This is what is more of, this, let me just make it a little bigger so that you can see that. Now, if you see, there have been numerous surveys, discussions around what is the benefit of working from home versus working from office, right? Now, this is not a hidden or a secret now that people prefer working from home as well as they're okay to go to office till the time they have a hybrid model or they are staying close to the office. Suppose you're not in a city where their office is, then obviously this doesn't work. But if you're staying in the same city where the office is, you people prefer hybrid working. Now, the recruiters also prefer that. That is what they advocate to the companies. Now, company won't listen. TCS, last week, I don't know if you heard the news or not, TCS has linked its performance to coming to office. So if you're taking more work from homes, then you will have an impact on your appraisals as well, right? So companies want people to be in office. Let us understand that. Now, why I am sharing all this with you? Why this is important for you to understand? If you are the person who's like really desperate for opportunities, if you are the kind of person who needs a job very, very quickly, you should have utmost flexibility on these fronts. Because a lot of people, they say, no, I prefer hybrid. No, I prefer uh, kind of only work from home. No, I prefer only this city, right? Now, if you're hyper flexible, if you are the one who's like, I'm absolutely open to the opportunity that is coming by, companies should be good, compensation should be good, right? If you are that kind of a person, you will multiply your opportunities because there will be a lot of people who will not be willing to go for that. They'll not be willing to go for 5 days. Nowadays, a lot of people, they are avoiding the night shifts if they are working for US clients and all. They are not preferring night shift from office. They want to work from home and all. So if you are the person who understands that this recruiter would have this challenge, which you can solve, basically, right? So you will have an upper hand, but you need to keep that in mind. You need to be ready with that. And then the last one is uh, attracting Gen Z. This is more of, so I am a Gen X, right? Most of you might be in the Gen Y category. And the Gen Zs, again, after I think 1995 or 1996 is Gen Z. So this is one of the problems for the recruiters because they uh, I tell you, for me, when I started my career, the most important thing was job stability. Like getting a job was a aura in itself, right? Then came a age where you also look at competing compensation, right? Now it's a value proposition. Value proposition means today the employee not just seeks compensation. Compensation to should be on the highest level. It's a requirement. Second thing is how much of a growth opportunity employer is giving, how much of a work-life balance it is offering. Again, a hybrid model is working. So attracting new talent is always a challenge. Again, I'm sharing this with you from a perspective where you see there are challenges that recruiters face and how you can be more flexible in certain situations to allow them to rely more on you, right? They trust more with your own judgment that this person I can easily hire because he or she is very flexible and I can easily quickly hire that person. Now, these are the reason for sharing these. As I said, this is more of LinkedIn interviewing the recruiters to understand what they are looking for, how they see the future. And, for them also, it's a big problem because the 3 to 5 years, next 3 to 5 years are going to be disruptive. The way things are moving, nobody knows. It's industry changing. It's globally impacting everybody's life. So nobody is clear as to how the 3 to 5 years are going to be like. It's all anticipation. It is also how you take steps daily. Basically, if you are the one who's like learning few things every day, you are learning the prompts, how Chat GPT works, or how AI tool works in your own industry. If you're able to learn that quickly, people will queue up to get you hired. But yes, that involves time, that involves investment, that involves training as well. So go through that perspective. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move to quickly to the what should I do, basically, right? What should be my strategy to get calls? And this is something that I have shared in the past also. Just share my screen again. So this is all about how can I get interview calls quickly, right? Now, we talked about recruiters, how they think, what is their perspective. We also talked about, I started with the how the hiring process works and all. Getting interview calls is like getting into the door. Getting interview calls means that the company thinks that you are the one who's right for this role, and let's see whether you can crack it or not. Okay. So how can we get into that door? How can we tell the company that I am the right person for your company, right? So as I said, this is all practice. You need to dedicate, you have to strategize. So dedicate 1 to 2 hours daily on this, how you put your effort there. And what should you do? Block your time first. That I first 1 or 2 hours I'll be dedicated to looking at opportunities, looking at what the job roles are and applying for those, right? Track your adherence as well. That are you able to match that? Sometimes we set up goals and we don't adhere to it. If you're able to match those, then move ahead and look at what are the roles you're applying for. Track those roles also. So identify the industry and the companies, track those. Also use Google alerts so that you get a prompt. Suppose some company is hiring, so you get a prompt that this company is hiring and you can immediately apply. Fastest fingers first. Here, when it comes to hiring, your speed or approach to how you go and apply for the roles, reach out to the recruiter, it really, really matters. Now, once you dedicate your time devotion to apply for the companies, look for the companies, apply for the companies, and also reach out to the recruiters. Now, let's identify the resources, right? So, first of all, sources are the job portals. What are primary ones? Like the multiple, like Naukri.com is one of the biggest in India. Indeed is another, Shine, Glassdoor India, Freshers World is what I've put in for the freshers who are applying for the first time. And Herky is also another one for specifically focused on females. Also, it talks about upskilling and all, right? So you can use all these portals. Don't restrict yourself for one or two. The more you can look at, the more opportunities you can apply for. There's a higher chance you get shortlisted for any roles. Then the second part is the social media like LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, it has LinkedIn has a very big role to play in hiring these days, right? So I'll tell you that different companies have different approach to hiring. Some companies they don't go to portals, they directly reach out, they do searching in LinkedIn, go through the profiles of people. Sometimes you will find that somebody has viewed your profile as a recruiter or a hiring manager. Uh, that means somebody is interested in your profile, right? So recruiters do that. Then they also look at Naukri as one source or others source like mentioned Monster, Shine, or any other portal, Glassdoor. Now, these are also what when they are using these portals, like they have certain criteria for that. Why LinkedIn is important is there are two ways you can use it. One is for applying for the roles, and you can build your network, and you can also increase your visibility. I've seen a lot of people who are posting, engaging regularly. You do it for a year, you can become one of the pros in LinkedIn, right? I mean, I've seen people who are not very good in communication. They're not very uh, expressive as well. Some lot of introverts, but they have chosen LinkedIn as their platform to voice their opinion. They do it very consistently, and if you're consistent enough to do that, um, well, you get all the attention. Then employee referrals is one which you can only leverage when you know people there, right? Where if you have somebody who you can refer, nothing beats that. Then network is absolutely important. Your own personal network or social media you can use. Here's the fun bit. What has been identified? There have been certain surveys that people have done, and what they've identified, I think it is in the LinkedIn survey somewhere or a report that your second and third level of network on LinkedIn gives you more opportunity in other organizations, right? And what is the logic behind it? The logic behind this is that the people who are very close to you on your network, if you need them, probably you will not be actively reaching out here and there. They will know that you need a job and they will proactively help you with that. Now, the second and third level people, they don't know that you are actively looking out for a job, and the also the network expands itself. It is not a small circle where you are just connected to your colleagues or very close set of friends, which is your first level, but the second and third expands your network to different opportunities. So that is why LinkedIn also shared one of the data metrics that your second and third level of connections or networks would help you more in getting a job. Yeah, it's a very startling and revealing kind of data metric, but interesting. University and college partnerships, especially for freshers, when you have collaboration, they do campus hiring and all. Then company internal database. Now, this is something which you can definitely use because a lot of companies push that. Suppose I want to get hired in IBM. So if I see they have a very robust postal careers portal, you can try go there, enroll yourself, also set some alerts and see if they are offering your roles. You can directly apply. And here is the fun bit. During that time, suppose you have identified, I'll give you an example. Suppose you have identified Microsoft is the company I want to work for, and you start building your network. You will see there would be a lot of people working from Microsoft, and you reach out to people and then you say, okay, can you help me with the hiring or identify what kind of roles are there? How can I get into Microsoft? Or what are the opportunities and things like that, right? Now, when these things you can take care of, you will realize that you will start getting responses and positive responses from the recruiter because it is an evolution process where you start reaching out. First of all, you will be reluctant. Everybody is reluctant because they don't know how the other person is responding. What if he or she is not accepting my request? What if he or she is not responding to my questions? Well, that's fine. That's his or her choice, and it's okay. We should respect that. What if somebody does? And what if somebody helps? I'll give you one example. A fresher actually was not getting a job, right? Somebody reached out to me in the sense that, are you also hiring for some freshers and all? And it was a perfect timing because generally openings are not there, but at that time it was. So we were able to hire that person. So an active connection, perfect timing. Not every time your timing would be perfect because you never know. Somebody asked, and I said, "Why?" Well, I see there is opportunity, but to have that timing in place, you need to take the first step of connecting. If you don't connect, then forget about the best jobs that our market has to offer. I've been putting this very bluntly in front of this group that if you're not investing in yourself, if you're not investing in your network, then you will not get the jobs that you're looking out for. Then recruitment agencies, yeah, I mean these. If you can reach out to these agencies and they have opportunities, because sometimes companies only hire through agencies. I shared one example. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was either last year or last to last year. TCS was hiring through certain agencies, and there were some kickbacks, some benefits that they were offering to the recruitment and hiring team. The entire hiring team was laid off just because of this reason. So these things happen. These things happen with a lot of companies where they were only focusing on one or two recruitment agencies. I won't go into the debate of what is right and what is wrong. That is not my domain. What my domain is that you get the best opportunities what the market and the life has to offer to you. So if there are recruitment agencies, if there are opportunities, I think you should look out for. Okay. Then these are the sources basically. Okay, any questions there? Let me know if you have any questions or concerns on any of these. Now, optimizing resume is very important because that is how you get the attention and how you get the call from the recruiter. So one is that you use the AI and ATS match, which is job scan and skill syncer. So you become an AI user or active user when you use these tools, right? So these tools help you getting closer to what the companies need. Now there is a bigger challenge. Now candidates, they are putting certain things just to get shortlisted or a call from the recruiter. It's easy, right? Now the trick is open. The trick is that you match your resume with the job description, you will definitely get a call. Now that's this trick is out and open. What I would always tell you to refrain from doing is putting false information or information just to match the numbers. Never do that on the resume. Because eventually you will be rejected at the later stage, which will be more disappointment for you. What you can definitely do is certain exceptions are like suppose you have a very amazing match for a role. You see that this is a role for me, and I have everything which matches, which the recruiter is looking out for. But there is one skill or two which I don't have at this point of time. I see it is in the job description. What you can do is you can ensure that you are applying and then you are learning as well at the same time. You're not you losing that opportunity just because of one skill or two. Make sense? I hope this is making sense to you. Then the checklist. You should have a checklist that this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there. Boom. Let me apply. This is optimized. Let me apply for that. And these resources I've already shared with you. What kind of things that you need to look for. Now, recruiter hiring process. Basically, what is their process? I've already mentioned, but how recruiter sees hiring. Suppose you are the person who's hiring for a company. Let us get into that brain. How will they see hiring or recruitment? First of all, they need to ensure that it has to be done quickly because if a position is open for a very long time, then it is a question on your ability to hire. I'm talking about recruiter. Unless you are a recruiter, this is something for the person who's hiring or engage in that. Now, if you understand what are the business needs, this would reflect in your searching ability as well. So suppose I am the recruiter, I know that what this business needs and where I can get it. They're smart people, right? They know the sources where they can get right candidates and all from the competitors and everywhere. So if you are able to understand and decode that part, boom. And this is something which they start their hiring philosophy based on the requirement. This is how they start searching for people. And they also, but basically they play with the psychology of the person as well. Suppose a hiring manager or a business has a uh, very closed approach or outlook. Closed approach or outlook means they are not very open to the idea of experimenting with people. They are very much focused on hard skills. That I need this certification. That's it. I don't care whether the candidates has a lot of other skills or not. Whether the candidate would be a good fit for the team or not. I just need these hard skills. Although nobody as a hiring manager says that, but they know what is the trigger for a specific hiring manager. Recruiter will hire people like that. They will think like that. Suppose there was a success with one organization there where they were able to hire so many people from. They will again and again go to that same organization and get those people. That's how recruiters think, right? So first of all, understand the business and then, of course, the job description, right? The key to success, basically. What is the job description? What are the criteria? Recruiters, they have to understand that. Job postings. Now, where they post? Basically, they post everywhere. Company websites. First thing the recruiter has to do is on the career page of the company, they will post these posts. And job portals, LinkedIn, internal referrals, they'll so if you're already working somewhere, you'll know that emails, company emails, they float around that if you know somebody, we can hire that person and all. So referrals are there. Then consultants and agency. So these are the where the recruiters actually post their postings and all. Then resume screening, how do do that, right? Basically, they look for the qualifications, whether there is qualification and experience and skills, right? Primarily three things. They'll also look for certifications, geography. There are 100 more things they do, but these are the basic qualifiers. Okay. Then refine search. Now, searching is a very important aspect. Why I put a lot of stress here, let me just make it a little smaller, because this is our basis of understanding how they do the actual searching for a candidate. What is it that they're doing? The recruiters, okay? So first of all, they will be very, very clear on the keywords. What is that? What does that mean? Suppose there is a business requirement for a green belt certification, Six Sigma green belt certification. Now, their keyword would always mention Six Sigma green belt. This is how they will filter out their search because that is a basic criteria. So they'll go to Naukri, they'll go to LinkedIn, they'll search for that. Now, LinkedIn, as I mentioned, that it searches for your first line connections first, then second, and then third. So why it is always good to be in the connection for the recruiters? Because if they search and they search for a keyword and you appear in that keyword search as their first connection, who would they be approaching as a candidate first? They'll approach to you. They'll reach out to you that I see that you have these skills. I'm looking out for this opportunity because they want to quickly shortlist a lot of people, right? So good to have a connection with the recruiter. They use the keywords just like you use the keywords sometimes in Google or any other prompt. Basically, what prompts you do, right? So suppose I want to I want to find best samosas in South Delhi, right? So I can put best samosa South Delhi as a keyword. It will give me a list of eateries and all, right? So this is how the keyword function works. Then Boolean again, these Boolean searches by what you say is, suppose I gave an example of a green belt. They want a green belt certification, plus they want somebody who has done say a BTech computer science, right? So the Boolean search can be green belt certified or BTech computer science, and it has a green belt certification as well. The second Boolean search is an OR. What they do is, suppose I want a person from a big four, right? So they might say that a person with an experience in either KPMG or Deloitte. So I can put an OR where either from KPMG or from Deloitte, I can get all the candidates or all the people who have already worked there, right? It is an over-inclusive search. So sometimes it's not like this is something the recruiters use to exclude people. Suppose they say that green belt certified and computer science, right? Not uh, suppose they are looking for a person who's probably, what should I exclude? Probably, mm, and probably not. Think what should be, maybe suppose from a geography, I want to exclude a specific geography, not from suppose uh, Asia or Europe or not. So I am excluding the entire locations from there as well. So if I'm looking for, suppose, I don't want to hire from this particular location, and even for the companies as well. Like suppose this person, this recruiter is not, uh, they don't want to hire from, suppose Accenture or some other company where they have a agreement that we will not hire from this company, right? They can include not there also. Then quotation marks, like put something in the quotes, which is absolute requirement for that particular road. Uh, uh, like I've already given example of the company for exclusions there as well. Okay, use Boolean searches. They use that, so you can use that as well. Experience ranges they use for filters, like I need from 10 to 12 years of experience. Location, as I mentioned, sometimes they will specify that I only need for this particular person to be in this location because it's a in-office job. Salary ranges, so Naukri and others, they prompt you to enter the salaries, and recruiters, because they are working with budgets. Generally, recruiters work in budgets. So if they are working in budgets, they will only filter out that whether this person is falling in my budget or not. So we need to be very sensitive when we are entering the information there. Excluding companies, I've already mentioned that these are non-compete. Suppose I work for IBM and there is a non-compete with Microsoft or any other company, or they're not going to hire from each other. So then obviously that can be excluded. And designation, sometimes certain designations they want to include or exclude. So they want to hire a person as an analyst, so they need an analyst designation as well. Then the notice period also. Notice period is like if they have a very long notice period, recruiters generally tend to avoid certain situations. But if you sometimes mention that in your profile and also with the recruiter that this is negotiable, or this is also something which is you are like looking out for the job actively, the recruiter also understand that even this person has a notice period, we can still negotiate on that if that person matches the role. Education, they see when the person has passed out. Diversity in selection, like if they're looking for certain female candidates. Nowadays, there is a mandate in companies. Big companies have a mandate that suppose this percentage of should be females, or there are people who are differently abled. They want to hire those people as well. So that's how they do it. Active in profile update. Like when was the last time you were active on, suppose Naukri or LinkedIn and things like that. So, this is very, very rigorously tracked by recruiters. Let me tell you this. I was talking to my recruiter in the company, and when we were talking about certain candidates, they say, Nitin, we always look for the people who are the most active because we know that they are actively looking for a job, right? I will not waste my time who has not been to the portal for last, say, 90 days, 60 days and all. Why? Because that means my effort would be wasted if that person says no. And it's an indicator that person is not actively looking. So in the morning, if you are able to just sign into the Naukri or any other portal who you are sourcing your jobs from, do that regularly. Now, I'm coming to the end of this session. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in. Enjoy your day.